Hello, this is Coach Phoebe again. For this video, you will learn about subject-verb agreement. So what is subject-verb agreement? Just like puzzle pieces, by which each piece must be cut perfectly to create a perfect picture, subject-verb agreement is the same. It is simply the matching of subjects and verbs in a particular sentence. It may sound easy, yes, but it can be very tricky. Please bear in mind that the general rule is that a singular subject should be paired with a singular verb. Likewise, a plural subject should be used with plural verbs. For example, my YouTube channel is a rising channel for English language learners. My YouTube channel is a singular subject, so I should use is as a verb and not are. However, I say my subscribers are mostly English language learners. My subscribers is my subject, and it does not involve only one person, but more than one person, which means it's in a plural form. So it should be matched with a plural verb, are. Now let's go to the 10 other rules of a subject-verb agreement. Rule number 1 is the use of compound subjects with no connectives in a sentence. Firstly, it is a rule of thumb to use plural verbs when two or more nouns connected by the word and is used as a subject in a sentence. Here are some examples. A doctor and a nurse are partners in providing appropriate health care. Cats and dogs are popular domestic pets around the world. Of course, most rules have exceptions. If the subject connected with the word and is a compound noun, you do not consider it plural, but singular. Just like, this bed and breakfast is Clariso's choice. Remember that bed and breakfast is a kind of accommodation, and you call it a compound noun. You consider it singular, so you use singular verbs with them. Secondly, when two singular subjects are connected with or, either or neither nor, you have to use singular verbs too. For instance, math or science is her most favorite subject at school, and not math or science are her most favorite subjects at school. Another example is either a pen or a pencil is fine, or neither alcohol nor a cigarette is good for you. On the other hand, if one subject is plural and the other one is singular, you are required to use either a singular or a plural verb depending on the noun that is the closest to the verb. Say for example, neither the door nor the windows were open. Neither the windows nor the door was open. In the first sentence, the window is obviously, or the windows rather, is obviously plural, so I used were as a verb. The same rule goes with the second example. Now I hate to confuse you really, but you need to also know that sometimes there are expressions that you need to consider. You need to consider that in a subject where you can find expressions like along with, as well as, besides, etc., you need to ignore the nouns that follow them. Just use the general rule, which is the singular subject is for singular verbs and a plural subject is for a plural verb. So you do not say Jacob together with his parents are excited to celebrate his first birthday, but you need to use Jacob together with his parents is excited to celebrate his first birthday. It is going to be the same as young women, not to mention the old ones, love flowers and not loves. Rule number 2 is using indefinite pronouns as your subject. Now let's review a little bit. Take a look. An indefinite pronoun is a pronoun that refers to non-specific beings, objects, or places. Now I classified them into 3. 1 are the indefinite pronouns, which are always singular, like anything, something, everyone, no one, another, and more. To illustrate better, here are some examples. Everything he learned is worth it. One learns great things from this video. 2. Number 2 are the indefinite pronouns that are always plural. Both, few, many, others, and several are the examples. In a sentence, we say, others are interested in my channel. Many visit my channel every day. The last one are indefinite pronouns that may be countable or uncountable depending on the context they are used for in a sentence. When the indefinite pronouns all, any, more, most, none, or some is used with an uncountable noun like money, sugar, water, then it has to be followed with a singular verb. As an example, more money is required to complete this course. But if you use countable nouns, you use the plural verbs. For example, more people marvel at the beauty of my hometown. I used marvel as a verb and not marvels. Rule number 3 is the inversion of subject and verb. Most commonly, in the sentence formation in English, subject comes first before a verb. But by using the words here and there, we can also do the other way around. So we can use verbs first before a subject. For example, here's your book. Your book is singular, so we say is. There are millions of missionaries around the world. Millions of missionaries is plural, so we say are. We can also form verb plus subject in a sentence not only by using here and there. For example, in the question, what are you looking for? Or in the statement, in front of my door waits my dog. My dog is singular, so I use waits and not wait. Because most of us use contractions like theirs, which is the shortened form of there is, we are accustomed to using theirs, even if the subject that follows it is in the plural form. So remember, it is wrong to say there's a lot or there's a great number of tourists visiting Seoul. But you have to say there are a great number of tourists visiting Seoul. Number 4. When using collective nouns, you have to go back to the basic rule. Singular verbs for singular nouns and plural verbs for plural nouns. But hey, what is a collective noun? A collective noun is used to refer to an entire group of people, animals, or things, just like the examples here. As I said, you always have to consider your general rule. When using plural collective noun, you have to use a plural verb like Filipino families welcome visitors well. The band plays slow beat music, or songs rather. The litter of puppies crawl everywhere. We are using the plural verb because these groups are not acting together as a unit and are performing an action as individuals. Whereas we say, my family welcomes visitors well. The team is in a soccer match. Or his collection is magnificent. Because all these members in these 3 sentences of the collective nouns are performing an action as one group. Well, Coach Phoebe, how do you make it much easier and more natural? Well, we can use the word members in plural ones to make it easy and natural. So instead of saying the band is here, we say the band members are here. Or the cast are gorgeous. We say the cast members are gorgeous. Rule number 5. Rule number 5 requires you to use a singular verb when the subject is a unit of distance, period of time, or sums of money. Therefore, you say, 9 kilometers is the distance from my house to the church. 3 hours is Filipinos' normal waiting time to get a government service. Or, $10 is the average daily wage in the Philippines. In contrast, we say 5 pesos are my collection, which means 5 peso coins are my collection. Now let's move on to rule number 6. So far, this is my most favorite since it's actually the easiest. This states that if you use titles of books or movies as a subject in your sentence, you should always consider that subject as singular, even if the words themselves are plural. Therefore, you only use singular verbs with them. For instance, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer is my childhood's all-time favorite book, and Snakes in a Plane is the most terrifying film I've seen in my life. Let's proceed. Rule number 7 is the word number in your subject. If the word number is preceded with an as in a number, you use a plural verb with it, as in a number of sea creatures are now in danger of extinction. But you have to use a singular verb when the word number is preceded with the article the, such as the number of sea creatures in danger of extinction is increasing. For our rule number 8, we will be talking about using were instead of was. This happens when you want to express our wishes, when we want to express a hypothesis, imagination, or maybe even something that's not a factual information. For example, if my mom were here, I would eat delicious meat dishes, as you can see. My mom is a singular subject, I know, but I'm using were after it as a verb in order to tell you that my mom isn't here and that my mom won't be able to do that for me. This rule is also when we wish something to happen. Say for instance, she hopes it were successful. Now we are in our 9th rule, which is using the preposition of, such as a bunch of bananas, a group of men, and a bouquet of carnation, etc. Now remember that in this rule, we consider the word or words that can be found before a phrase that starts with an of, the subject in the sentence. In majority of the subject-verb agreement mistakes we commit, this rule is actually the culprit. Now remember that it is never correct to say a bunch of bananas are his gifts to his master, but we always say a bunch of bananas is his gift to his master. That's because a bunch, which appears before the word of, is your subject and not bananas. And for our very last rule in a subject-verb agreement, rule number 10. This states the use of the preposition of to indicate portions of some things. Just like the usage of a lot of, a majority, some, and all. This is an opposite to rule number 9. What I mean is, in the 9th rule, the word or words before of is your subject. But for this 10th rule, the word that follows of is going to be your subject, because that is used to indicate a certain portion or portions of some things. So if the noun after of is singular, use a singular verb. If it is plural, use a plural verb. Now here are some examples. A lot of the subscribers were pleased. A lot of the subscriber was pleased. In these two sentences, the words a lot is not your subject, but the words after of is your subject, which is the subscribers and the subscriber respectively. This is again because it indicates a portion of my total subscribers. That's the end of this lesson. So if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, please visit Coach Phoebe and subscribe now. Thank you very much. See you. Bye-bye.